Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the beginning of the new era. My name is Jack, I'm your commentator, and we are here in MOR Esports for Season 5, Round 1 of the Monday 6 PM division. And this is the first race in Season 5 of MOR. This should be absolutely brilliant. I'm really looking forward to this. This should be great. And of course, because it's not a social race, we're back to 18 minutes of qualifying, followed by a 50% race. Now, every single day, we will have 6 PM and 8 PM being championship divisions. Those being Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every single day of the week, 6 and 8 PM, is a championship division. Every other race that we do, which will be 12, 2 and 4, will be a social race. Social races will be remaining at one-shot qualifying 35% distance. And then the championship events will be your standard short qualifying 50% race. Everyone, of course, on the soft compound tires. We don't need to look at that. And Lunar Eclipse is the first driver out on track then. And the first person to set a lap in Season 5 of MOR. It should be interesting to see who the early big hitters are going to be. The Monday 6 PM division, me and Mikey both said this is probably going to be one of the dark horses. Although we've of course got the likes of Saban and KHR that you would expect to be winning the races and gunning for the championship. And this really is the first sort of big moment since the boom in popularity for MOR. This is the first of the big races that we've had, besides maybe some of the title deciders and things like that in WRC. But for MOR, this is the first big race for the new era. So definitely going to be interesting to see where drivers are going to be placing themselves. Who are we maybe going to have to look out for in the future? All of those questions will be answered at the end of, I believe, 29 laps around this Albert Park circuit. Lunar Eclipse just coming through the chicane now then. And flying on towards the final sector. No battery for Lunar Eclipse, so might drop down a few places as to what we would normally expect from the Alpine driver. As through the final sector we go then, on board with the Alpine car, trying to get a bit of battery, deploying it all down the straight. Running out of battery very quickly is the Alpine car. It's a 1 minute 19.3 for Lunar Eclipse, who sets the fastest lap and the first lap of Season 5. We've also got Greco Theo, who's just going on to a lap. We've got one of the Aston Martins, that's not Brownie, who's just going onto a lap. We've got Wishing Siren, who invalidated. We've got Jarmin coming to the line now as well. Jarmin goes into P2 with a 1 minute 19.9. Then we've got one of the Ferraris just coming around the final couple of corners. That will be Twitch Brands, who really shakes out of the final corner. Car very unstable through the final part of the lap. Brands goes into third. Hi-Fi replaces him in third place. And the times now start tumbling here in qualifying as everyone starts to set their laps. We've got Gianfranco currently on provisional pole position. It's a 1 minute 17.6 for him. Spadang in second with a 1 minute 18.6. We've then got MOR Blake Zilla with a 1 minute 18.9. So currently, it's Gianfranco on provisional pole by about a second. However, I'm sure if there is any man that is going to change that, it's going to be Saban, who makes his way towards the line now. And it is provisional pole for Saban then. A 1 minute 17.4 for the Cadillac driver. And he goes to provisional pole, not Brownie. Goes to P4 as Wishing Siren now goes to the top with a 1 minute 17.2. And the Mercedes driver looking to put himself in the fight as well. And I wonder then, who do we think is going to be in the championship fight this season? If we can get a little poll going in the chat, who do we think is going to be gunning for the title in Season 5? The Monday 6 PM division. If I had to make a bet, it would probably be Saban. However, we have got people like Wishing Siren, like KHR. Someone saying Kiki as well. As we've got Sander on a lap too. We've got MOR Blake, who's invalidated his lap. Will be going on to another lap now. Sander in the final part of the lap, as is Lawless Fever. We've got HCL Llama coming to the final couple of corners. Edvin saying Brownie low-key. Brownie definitely could be a dark horse in the championship. I definitely would put him in the top 5 as Lawless Fever comes to the line and goes ahead of his teammate, not Brownie, into P5. What about HCL Llama as he comes across the line? He goes P3. But this is one of the men that we've been bigging up to be in the championship fight. KHR round the final corner to begin his first flying lap of this session. What can the Audi driver try and get out of that car? Into turn 1 we go. Little bit unstable for the Audi, all up against the curbs. Really attacking the first complex of corners, lifting and coasting into the next. Wants all the battery possible for the straights. Uses a bit of battery out of there. And now to really, can we even call this a corner? You brake a little bit, you sometimes lift and coast, then you get the power down and you fly towards the chicane. He's going to get a bit of a slipstream as well. I believe that was Sander that has just given KHR a bit of a slipstream in the middle sector. KHR through the chicane then. Looks very quick, looks very stable. Is it very fast? That is the question. We'll be awaiting this man across the line shortly, as Sander has left the session and retired. KHR through the penultimate and now the final corner. Can the Audi driver try and improve? He gets the straight mode open and drives for the line. KHR goes to second with a 1 minute 17.4. It's not quite provisional pole, but it is good enough for P2 at the moment. He beats Saban. Wishing Siren currently clear out in front. The Stubler is on his outlap. And all that's left to do is wait another 9 minutes and 30 seconds and we will know who is on pole position. I imagine the drivers have still got 1, maybe 2 laps. We've got Wishing Siren on an outlap at the moment. Here comes the Stubler then, who also could be a bit of an underground name. The number 1 way to win a championship is consistency. So Wishing Siren, KHR and Saban, who we had in the conversation for the fight for the title, realistically, you'd put them up there because of their pace. But consistency-wise, if you are someone like Llama, like Gianfranco, like Rigged, if you are someone like that and just consistently scoring top 5, top 6, you might be worth a little bit of money in the title. Into the final couple of corners then. Jaden saying, hey JP, would I be able to jump into the session? Not in this session, no. This is a championship event. If you are looking to get signed up for any of our championship days, all you got to do is message one of the admins in the Discord. Here comes the Stubler then towards the line. He goes into P9. Wishing Siren on his latest lap. Oh, hello, Jay. I didn't realize it was you. My apologies. Are you signed up for the Monday 6 p.m. division, Jay? Let's quickly invite F1 Mikey Boy, wherever F1 Mikey Boy is. Where is F1 Mikey Boy? Mr. Mikey, the proud owner of a new PC, wants to test his graphics out. Mikey is not on my friends list. That's odd. You're down as a reserve, Jay. Don't know if that's the way that I can double check this. Give me 2 moments, Jay. I will be right with you. Excuse the barking in the background. That is our dog. Give me 2 moments to move her and I'll be back. Apologies for the delay. Okay, right, we are back. Apologies for the delay, ladies and gentlemen. We will try and get F1 Mikey Boy back in the lobby. I just can't see him online. JF1, there you are, so we'll get you in. You are more than welcome to join as a reserve, Jay. Why can't I see F1 Mikey Boy on my friends list? That is the question. We've got 5 minutes and 30 seconds left of this session. I think I'm just going to have to invite Mikey while he's offline. So do excuse the delay as I try and find Mikey in my friends list wherever he is. Where is F1 Mikey Boy? He should be right there, no? Where is F1 Mikey Boy on my friends list? He's not like changed his name to MOR, has he? No. Where is F1 Mikey Boy? I've got so many friends now, it's absolutely bonkers. Maybe he's here? No. Where is Mikey? This is very odd. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Mikey is not on my friends list at all. That's, odd. Very weird. Anyway. I believe Mikey has been able to get in now. We've got 3 minutes left of this session. Wishing Siren did go quicker on that lap that we watched. We've got Gianfranco in 4th. HTL Llama is currently in 5th place. Looks like Llama is pushing on. What can HTL Llama do? From 5th. Mercedes man needs about 10 thousandths of a second. No, never mind. I'm looking at Gianfranco. Completely ignore what I've just said. He needs about 2.5 tenths to get to Gianfranco. As HTL Llama crosses the line. Goes P2. What a lap from HTL Llama. We've got ourselves a Mercedes 1-2. Here in qualifying, Gianfranco coming into the pits will need to be very quick getting out of the pit lane. No, Gianfranco has retired. He believes that's the best he can do. Lunar Eclipse on an out lap. We've got Greco on a lap. We've got Hi-Fi on an out lap. Twitch Brands on a lap as well. JF1 on an out lap. Looks like Saban and KHR are out. We'll watch the lap from KHR then. About 3 tenths off of pole position. What does the Audi driver have in this session? There's a lot of traffic for him to try and get through. We'll go on board with the Audi. Gets it turned in. The car skates a little bit wide. He isn't going to get the slipstream this time. That was very close with the Aston Martin. Might lose a bit of time down here because he isn't gaining that slipstream. KHR into the chicane. Using all the battery. It looks honestly about the same as his last lap was. To be completely honest, it might be a little bit quicker as the McLaren darts off the racing line to allow the Audi through. Saban and Wishing Siren also on outlaps. As here comes KHR then. His final shot at pole position is burning the overtake to the line. KHR does not improve. 19 milliseconds down. And is going to put himself in the wall. And that's a wise way to do things. Llama won't get another lap in this session either. As Saban starts his lap then. I believe that was Wishing Siren in the background. Saban has invalidated. So surely there is no one that can stop Wishing Siren from taking pole because Saban may be pushing on. But I think he's just doing it for the bragging rights. The Cadillac driver has invalidated this lap. Will not get another run in qualifying. Qualifying will be over any second. It's over now. Hi-Fi, Jack Plays, Twitch Brands, Sander, Gianfranco, and KHR all will not get more laps. Neither will Llama. Saban won't get one. He's invalidated. So what about Wishing Siren then? Trying to improve, I guess, just for the sake of it. Saban is going to finish this lap anyway, just to be able to say in the Discord that he could have taken pole position had he not invalidated. Saban rounds the final corner. It's a 1 minute 17.191 that he would have to beat. And Saban does a 17 flat, so he would have taken pole position. Unless Wishing Siren beats that. Wishing Siren demolishes that. A 1 minute 16.8. Saban would have gone into second place, but Wishing Siren dominating the competition in this qualifying session. Spadang has been off the road and will not improve. What about the Stubler as he comes round the final corner? Luna has been off the road somewhere. Stubler goes into 8th place and dumps Luna down to 9th. And that is your qualifying over, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Mercedes 1-2, just as it was in real life. Wishing Siren from HTL Llama. Saban will line up 3rd with KHR 4th and Gianfranco in 5th place. Lawless Fever is 6th with Rigged in 7th. The Stubler is 8th with Lunar Eclipse in 9th. MOR Blake will line up in 10th. A Mercedes 1-2 down under. Shades of real Formula 1. Wishing Siren on pole. Llama with him. The first race of Season 5, the first race of the Monday 6 p.m. division will be live shortly. The Australian Grand Prix is up next. Welcome back to the action, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the formation lap. Strategy-wise, it isn't split. Rigged and Jarman start on the hard compound tyres. Everyone else on the mediums then. Let me just reload our TikTok chat. Prince Jarman saying, damn, you lot are insanely fast. Hashtag out of my depth. Well, Jarman, you should know better than anyone that anything can happen in a race. To try and gain some places in this Grand Prix, it's just about taking the opportunities when they come to you. Wishing Siren starts from pole position. It will be Llama in second with Saban in third. KHR lines up fourth with Gianfranco in fifth place. Lawless is sixth with Rigged in seventh. The Stubler is eighth with Lunar Eclipse in ninth place. As we will swap to the position change graphic as we want that on at the start. Welcome in, El Verstappen. My day's been going very well. Very excited for the start of Season 5 in MOR. Hope your day's been going well too. Is Wishing Siren then towards the final chicane. Mikey in the chat. He's very excited for the first round of MOR as well. A Mercedes front row lockout. Jay saying, what's your opinions on the team lineups, JP? First of all, Jay, get out of AI, get in your car. Second of all, I haven't seen them, to be honest, so I couldn't answer that question even if I wanted to. I have not seen. Nova Piper saying 6 p.m. is likely to be faster than the 8 p.m. race. We will have to see when the lights go out and have to wait for the 8 p.m. race. But all that's left to do then, the formation lap is over and we await the lights ahead of the drivers. The engines roar to life then. It's a new era for MOR Esports as we get underway here in Australia. Wishing Siren with a decent getaway from pole position, and he will lead us through turn one. Look at Saban in ghost mode with Llama as well. Who's going to come out on top of that fight? Looks like it's going to be the Mercedes for the time being, as KHR a little bit forced into the wall. We've got some ghosting going on. KHR now up to third place ahead of Saban, who got the early getaway. Hi-Fi has had a moment at the back, as has Sander, as we've got a car in the wall, it sounds like. And there is a car in the wall. That's Greco Theo. And we have got a virtual safety car deployed in this race already. Greco Theo down to last, and with some big front wing damage as well. Big gainer in the opening phases is JF1, up 5 places. Not Brownie, up 4. We've got quite a few drivers up 3 places. And that'll be for the big losers of Sander, Rigged, and Greco Theo. But it's still Mercedes 1 and 2 in this race then. Wishing Siren and HTL Llama. Llama was under pressure from Saban. Got out of the ghost mode and into second place. KHR in the ghost mode, gaining a place on Saban. As we round the final corner under the VSC conditions to end lap 1. And it's Wishing Siren that is your leader, but Llama has got a very good getaway from the virtual safety car, and into turn 1 we go. Llama's looking towards the inside. It's Wishing Siren with the more conventional racing line, but Llama is still looking to fight this, and the inside line here most certainly could work. Llama inching ahead of his Mercedes teammate. Look at KHR in the background as well, as HTL Llama takes the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Wishing Siren manages to hold on to second. Is that KHR? That is KHR that is lagging around a hell of a lot. And that will be putting the other drivers off. The Stubler up into fourth. So it's a Mercedes 1-2, an Audi 3-4. Saban losing places at the start. And that is a car in the wall. That is the Stubler. So it was an Audi 3-4, but not for long, as the Stubler with a big moment and glitching through cars as well. The Audi into the barriers and will need to be into the pit lane. Saban also has got quite big front wing damage, as Greco has had a moment in the first sector of the lap. But it's HTL Llama that will lead us round the final corner to begin lap 3 then. It's still a Mercedes 1-2, but they have swapped positions. I can't even speak English in this race. Llama is your leader. Wishing Siren in second. KHR is third then, as we've still got yellow flags for Greco Theo. The Stubler has been into the pit lane. Saban is dropping like a stone here. Very surprised he didn't come into box. Saban now down to 12th place in this Grand Prix. And a man that we definitely thought would be contending for the championship, Cadillac, having an awful day. Greco Theo down in 20th and already about a sector away from being lapped. Saban down to 12th, is looking to try and make that 11th and get through on JF1. Does that with relative ease, as Greco again has had another moment and is off the road. Don't know what's happening with Greco Theo. He doesn't have any damage. So Greco evidently just struggling a lot and is coming back into the pit lane, having only pit, I think, a lap ago, was it, for those tyres? Yes. This is already going to be a second stop for Greco Theo. At least we know MOR is law accurate. With the Cadillacs struggling away, Blake also comes into the pit lane. You'd assume that is for a front wing change for the V-Carb driver. He pulls in, and that is a front wing change that Blake needs. So already some chaos kicking off here in Australia. And we're only on lap 4 of 29. Wishing Siren is your leader. He took it back from HTL Llama. We've got KHR still running in third, albeit a second back, and is still glitching around on the road. So Mercedes looking early favourites for the Constructors' Championship. We've got Wishing Siren in the lead as HTL Llama has ran out of battery. He is pulling alongside with his teammate round the outside of the chicane, and HTL Llama gets his way back past Wishing Siren But Wishing Siren with the battery advantage is surely just going to take this straight back again as into the right-hander we go. Llama manages to defend. Wishing Siren back down to second place. Definitely no team orders down at Mercedes. That's going to bring KHR back into the overtake boost as well. As we move towards lap 5 of this Australian Grand Prix, it is HTL Llama that is your leader. Wishing Siren in second place. KHR is third with Not Brownie in fourth. Lunar Eclipse fifth with Gianfranco in sixth place. Rigged is seventh with Spadang in eighth. MOR Blake Zilla in ninth. And Saban, now in 10th place, is recovering even with the damage to that front wing, as we've still got yellow flags flying, and that still is for Greco Theo. So what is going on with the Cadillac? Let's remain on board with him. He might maybe have some rear wing damage. That's the only thing that I can think of that would be making him struggle this hard. You can see him taking turn 1 very carefully. And I do wonder if there is a bit of rear wing damage for Greco. And that will be race over if it is rear wing damage, because you cannot repair the rear wing in the pit lane. So you have to carry that damage for the whole Grand Prix. And you can see he's really having to lift off. I do believe this is rear wing damage for the Cadillac driver. As you can see, the oversteer that he is getting on board, he's having to catch the car at practically every corner. The chicane will be where he really struggles, and where he has struggled before. So let's see, on board with Greco Theo as we go into the chicane. And yes, you can see the understeer on that car. Greco most certainly does have rear wing damage. And I must say, I'm very surprised he's not been into the pit lane to retire. Wishing Siren is your leader then. HTL Llama in second place. KHR running in third, is falling off the back of the Mercedes duo on this lap though. The gap 1.7 seconds. So they're Not Brownie in fourth. One of our biggest gainers along with JF1. Both of those drivers up 7 places at the moment. Not Brownie under a lot of pressure from Lunar Eclipse, who runs in 5th at the moment. Luna looking to try and take 4th place. Has a bit more battery, and the overtake boost is going to pull to the outside line and fly through on Not Brownie. Up into 4th place in this race. Lunar Eclipse doing a very good job in that Alpine. KHR is going to fall out of the overtake boost of the Mercedes pair. So they are left to fight out front on their own. But if this scrapping gets a little bit too heavy, it will drag KHR straight back into the fight. We're on lap 7 of 29 of the Australian Grand Prix, as someone has had a moment. And again, it is Greco Theo that has had a moment. Still in 20th, is about to be lapped twice, as Not Brownie has fallen behind Gianfranco as well. Spadang and Rigged fighting. Spadang gets through into 7th. We've got Jarmin currently running in 9th place. Jarmin up 5 positions at the moment. The Jarmin doing a very good job, as Llama does get back through on Wishing Siren. We know the yo-yo racing is a big thing in Formula 1 in 2026. And it does look like we're going to have a bit of the old yo-yo racing in MOR Esports. Makes for very interesting battling though, it must be said. We have got some new graphics on screen as well, ladies and gentlemen. If you look in the top left and top right of your screen, you'll be able to see we have a like goal and a followers goal. It doesn't look like they're working to me, if I'm completely honest. If I make the stream full screen on my phone quick, no, they're not synced up for some reason. But we will have those enabled from the 8 PM race, do not worry, as Greco does come into the pit lane and retire from the session. And there's really no surprise about that. Rear wing damage, not exactly the easiest thing to be able to carry in an F1 Grand Prix. We've got Sander, who's all the way at the back as well in AI mode. We saw this in, I believe, the 12 p.m. social earlier today. Sander, his internet, not very good, let's say, not holding up very well. As Llama and Wishing Siren continue their fight out front, Gianfranco and Lunar Eclipse doing battle into the chicane. And Gianfranco is in 4th place then. Lunar Eclipse trying to fight this back on the inside, but runs out of battery. And Gianfranco will run in 4th for the time being, as Rigged has had a bit of a moment and is really slowing down at the chicane. And Rigged now down to 12th place. JF1 is the big gainer in this race, up 11 positions so far, as Saban and Blake Zilla scrap away. You can see how much extra downforce a full front wing gives you. Badang into the pit lane. Was that a puncture on that car? That front left tyre looked a little bit deflated almost as he pulls into the pit lane. Maybe not. It is a front wing change for Spadang. Rigged comes into the pit lane and retires. But you can see MOR Blake Zilla quite easily defending from Saban. Saban with that damage, and he is all under pressure from JF1. You can see Saban knows he's slow in the corners and is just saving his battery to be as quick as possible in a straight line. Wishing Siren and Llama scrapping away at the front of the field. It's HTL Llama that is your leader at the moment. The two Mercedes drivers 4.6 seconds clear of KHR, who is 5 seconds clear of Lunar Eclipse. Closest battle on track is JF1 versus Saban. Saban getting a lot closer to MOR Blake Zilla, as MOR Blake picks up a 3-second time penalty. JF1 already having a 3-second time penalty. I believe they are, yes, both 3-second penalties for those drivers at the moment. Is Jay then able to try and overtake Saban down the main straight? Is going to run out of battery, and Saban will gain away. So if Jay wants to get this move done on the Cadillac, he is going to need to save a bit more battery for the straights, as the two Mercedes still scrapping away then. Llama from Wishing Siren, and Wishing Siren is looking to attack his teammate, decides to sit in behind as we go into the chicane. And is Wishing Siren maybe thinking he just wants to sit behind for now, doesn't want to attack because he doesn't want KHR getting involved in the Mercedes fight. He is looking at the outside line. The two Mercedes wheel to wheel. We all remember the duel in the desert, Hamilton versus Rosberg in 2014. Are we getting a duel in Albert Park here today? A duel down under, shall we say, between Llama and Wishing Siren? It most certainly looks that way at the moment, as HTO Llama continues on in the Grand Prix lead. Gianfranco, Not Brownie, and Lunar Eclipse having a great three-way fight for 4th, 5th, and 6th place, as JF1 now comes into the pit lane. Is this a scheduled pit stop for JF1? He comes in now, and it is a scheduled pit stop. There is no front wing change. It's a 2-stop race for JF1, who goes on to another set of the medium compound tyres. Emerges in 16th place, just ahead of Jack Plays, as Sanders AI has just been lapped once more by Llama and Wishing Siren. And the two Mercedes still scrapping away. This is probably the best fight we've got on track at the minute. Gianfranco versus Not Brownie versus Lunar Eclipse. And this is the battle for 4th, or as I would call it, the battle for the position where you hope the podium sitters crash. You just pray something goes on up ahead. And you can try and take a podium place. Snatch one away in the dying embers. Jack Plays in the chat saying, sadly someone spun on the first lap and it didn't ghost, so lost my whole wing. That's the reason why I'm last. Jack Plays currently behind JF1, who has boxed in this race. There's still plenty of time to go. We're still not even a half race distance. There is also the chance of virtual and full safety cars, as we've got a yellow flag, and that is for Saban, who is in the wall and has lost his front wing. Was fighting away with MOR Blake Zilla, and Saban is in the barriers. No front wing, as I mentioned. Saban will be into the pit lane on this lap for a new front wing. And the Cadillacs having an awful day out. One of them already out of this race. Saban off the track once more and dragging some gravel onto the track with him. As HTL Llama comes into the pit lane. Wishing Siren will stay out and lead this race. And Saban's got to be careful that he doesn't pick himself up a penalty for extended track limit warnings. He's been off the track a few times. As Saban makes his way through the final sector then. Will be into the pit lane. Might retire, to be completely honest. I would not be surprised. As Saban does get round and into the pit lane. The Stubler picks up a 3-second time penalty. And Saban is going to retire. He's sped into the pit lane. And Saban is out. The Cadillac team having the worst possible start to life in MOR esports. The opposite could be said about Mercedes. HTL Llama running in 6th place at the moment. Alcada saying, JP, did you see the captains and teams for the Saturday division? I did not, unfortunately. I know off the top of my head a few of the captains. I know MCL's one of them. I want to say Meloon's one of them, if I'm not mistaken. As Wishing Siren comes into the pit lane. KHR into the pit lane. We've got Gianfranco, Not Brownie, and Lunar Eclipse all into the pit lane as well. Llama has undercut his teammate. And the gap between the two Mercedes boys then, 1.7 seconds. No, it's even larger than that. The gap between them, over 5 seconds. And that is massive in this era of Formula 1. HTL Llama, he took the pit stop first. They're both on hard compound tyres. I would imagine to go to the end of this race. That is absolutely huge. 5.2 seconds, a lap difference in their tyres. Jarmin has not boxed yet and is running in P3. KHR 2.2 seconds behind him. Gianfranco in 5th. Lawless Fever pitted, I believe, at the end of the opening lap. As Not Brownie goes through and into 6th. Lunar Eclipse Lunar Eclipse trying to get up to Not Brownie and continue that fight on for 4th, 5th, and 6th place. Once the likes of Lawless Fever and Jarmin come into the pit lane. KHR all over the back of the McLaren. Should be an easy move for KHR, but Jarmin has saved battery for the main straight, and KHR won't be getting through on this occasion. But such is the speed of the fresh hard compound tyres, and he does make his way through into 3rd place then. The Audi driver back into the podium positions as HTL Llama continues on in the lead of this race. The gap is falling between Wishing Siren and Llama. The gap Was about 5 seconds. It's now 4.6. So the race definitely isn't over yet. We're at about the half race distance point. So still plenty of time for something to happen, for something to go wrong. As the Stubler will be the next man to try and get through on Lawless Fever. The Stubler came in for his hard compound tyres very early in this race. Wishing Siren sets the fastest lap of the race then, and that gap is falling. If we look at the fastest lap difference, half a second between Llama and Wishing Siren's fastest laps. Wishing Siren is closing in, and closing in very quickly, as Lawless Fever and the Stubler and Sander all come into the pit lane. So that will leave Gianfranco, Not Brownie, and Lunar Eclipse to continue their fight, albeit Lunar Eclipse about 2.1 seconds off of Brownie, who's 1.6 seconds off of Gianfranco, who is now looking to try and get through on Jarmin. Around the outside, down the main straight. Jarmin will look to try and fight this back with the battery, but has ran out of the battery store. Jarmin now down to 5th place. Gianfranco up into 4th, 3.3 seconds behind KHR. Alcada saying, I'm a captain. My team is Butcher, Bo, Jack Plays, and Lucky. That's not a bad team at all, Alcada. That sounds like a very consistent team, I must say. We're on lap 17 then, of 29 of this Australian Grand Prix. It is HTL Llama that is your leader, 5 seconds ahead of his teammate Wishing Siren. KHR running in 3rd with Gianfranco in 4th place. Not Brownie is 5th with Jarmin in 6th place. Lunar Eclipse is 7th with MOR Blake running in 8th. Blake with a good comeback after having to pit quite early for that front wing damage. Will need another pit stop, you would imagine, in this Grand Prix. But Blake doing well on those tyres at the moment. Spadang in 9th with Lawless Fever running in 10th. The Stubler is 11th with MOR Blake Zilla in 12th. JF1 running in 13th. High Five 14th with Twitch Brands in 15th place. Jack Plays just coming out the pit lane and in 16th place. And Sander down in 17th. We have lost Saban, Rigged, and Greco from the Australian Grand Prix. F1 Mikey Boy saying this race is going quick. Jarmin doing a good first stint. I couldn't agree more, to be honest. Jarmin is going to come into the pit lane now. And it will be 17 laps that he took those hard compound tyres. Gets himself into the pit lane. Let's see where the McLaren comes out of the pit lane. I would imagine it will be around the Stubler and Blake Zilla. As he comes out the pit lane, can get the power down now then. And he is going to get out ahead of Lawless Fever, the Stubler, and Blake Zilla, as Stubler goes into the back of Jarmin, who was just coming out the pit lane. And the Stubler into the barriers, has avoided any damage, but is now down to 12th place. Mikey saying chance at top 10 with them mediums. Well, he's already 9th and has got fresher, quicker tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. Mikey sharing his view on that contact as well. So Jarmin in 9th place then. We'll look to try and gain on Spadang, who runs in 8th. Then Blake, who runs in 7th. Spadang with a 6-second penalty. Blake with a 3-second. Jarmin could quite easily take 7th place in this race. Lawless Fever still on the back of Jarmin. So Jarmin does have to think a little bit about defending. MDS Brazilian, this is MOR Esports. You join us for the first round of Season 5. We've got 10 laps to go in this Australian Grand Prix in the Monday 6 PM division. It is HTL Llama and Wishing Siren that are your leaders as the Stubler now comes into the pit lane and retires from the session. And we have got 4 drivers out of this race so far. Those being the Stubler, Saban, Rigged, and Greco. Greco, I completely understand. Had rear wing damage. Not exactly the easiest thing to carry to the end of the Grand Prix. Everyone else, I'd say it's a little bit self-inflicted. 4.7 seconds is the gap between Siren and Llama. It is coming down, but at this rate, Llama has got this all under control at the moment. KHR in third, about 10 seconds off of this fight. Gianfranco running in fourth with Not Brownie in 5th place. Lunar Eclipse is 6th with MOR Blake about 11 seconds off that in 7th. Let's stick with Jarmin then, because he is battling with Lawless Fever. Lawless did manage to get back past Jarmin as Blake comes in for another pit stop. I wonder if Spadang will have to be in as well. Where is Blake going to come out? It's a set of the medium compound tyres for Blake. He makes his way out in 11th place. JF1 currently running in 12th. If we look at the position change, JF1 not with the greatest strategy call in the world to go onto that set of mediums very early. But Jay still up 7 places from where he started. Definitely can't complain with that, as he has got the biggest position gain in this race. Jarmin now falling off the back of Lawless Fever, so the hard compound tyres definitely looking like a very good race tyre. It must be said, Lawless also doing a very good job of saving his battery as Jack Plays picks up a 3-second time penalty. Spadang now comes back into the pit lane for his second stop. You can imagine it will be medium tyres for him as well to the end of this Grand Prix. It is, in fact, medium compound tyres to the end. The Alpine driver back out into the pit lane. And will come out in 11th place ahead of JF1 and behind MOR Blake. Spadang will now look to try and get on the back of Blake, but those tyres very similar in performance. We're on lap 21, about to go on to lap 22 of this Australian Grand Prix. And Llama still your leader by 4.5 seconds. As I say, the gap is coming down between the Mercedes duo, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough for Wishing Siren to get close to him. Unless something untoward happens. HTL Llama looking very good for a race win as Gianfranco picks up a 3-second time penalty. And that's going to hurt him in the fight with Not Brownie, who's only 2.6 seconds shy of him at the moment. And it looks like that gap may be coming down. So Not Brownie looking to finish in 4th place at the moment. Jarmin now picks up a 3-second time penalty as well and is falling off of the back of Lawless Fever. MOR Blake sets the fastest lap of this race. Spadang chasing him down as JF1 comes back into the pit lane for the soft compound tyres. For the end of this Grand Prix will come out, you would assume, behind Twitch Brands. As down the main straight comes the Ferrari. There is JF1 in the foreground. This is going to be close between the Ferrari and the Red Bull. And Brands not able to make the move. JF1 will stay out in 13th place then. As Brands goes wide to let HTL Llama go through. Llama now about to lap JF1 in this Grand Prix. We're on lap 23 of 29 then. HTL Llama leads the way. I must say, Mercedes dominance, I thought it was bad in Formula 1. But in MOR, 4.3 seconds between them. And then 11.8 seconds back from Siren to KHR. The Mercedes look like they're in a different realm here today. Audi, I'm sure, will be very happy, though, to finish in third and on the podium in their first race in MOR Esports. Not Brownie is fourth with Gianfranco in fifth. Not Brownie has got ahead of Gianfranco, who has got some big front wing damage and is going to come into the pit lane and lose a lot of positions here. Gianfranco must have had contact with the wall somewhere. He wasn't close enough to any other drivers, as he's coming in for the hard compound tyres. Interestingly enough, the softs really must be that bad, as the new front wing goes on and Gianfranco retires from the race. That seems a bit pointless when you've done 24 laps, but anywho, that leaves Not Brownie in fourth, Lunar Eclipse in fifth, Lawless Fever in sixth place, Jarmin in seventh. The medium compound tyres not working out the way that Jarmin would have liked. But seventh place, definitely not bad going at all. Closest battle on track is, funnily enough, between the two Blakes, MOR Blake and MOR Blake Zilla. Ferrari versus VCarb. Is Blake Zilla going to look down the inside? He is. This is the difference in their tyres. So MOR Blake realistically should be quicker. But Blake Zilla looking really good in this race, I must say. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is one of the dark horses that we really see improve as the season goes on. Blake is the man currently in 8th. He does have a penalty though, and that will be costing him unless he can shake off the pressure of MOR Blake Zilla. Gap at 8/10 currently. Blake looking for the comeback after having been in the pit lane quite early to repair his front wing. Jarmin is running in 7th, about 6.3 seconds ahead of the VCarb. You can see Blake Zilla with the overtake boost and with the battery advantage as well is getting closer to Blake. This is your closest battle on track at the moment between the two Blakes. Blake Zilla looking that little bit better at saving his battery at the moment. As we'll go back with our leader then, HTL Llama. We're on lap 26 of 29. And HTL Llama is looking good in this race. There's still time for chaos to happen. The gap just dipping under 4 seconds now between himself and his teammate. But I'm sure he will not be too worried about that, as he is led quite comfortably for most of this Grand Prix. Spadang picks up a 3-second time penalty. HTL Lama around the final corner to begin lap 27 of this race. And I must say, the Mercedes duo, I've said it earlier on, but they look very big contenders for the Constructors' Championship. I think it would be hard to say that they're not. Currently running 1-2. And it is always interesting to see the first race of a season, a new division, especially when it's a situation like this where a lot of these drivers won't have raced in Season 4, are racing in Season 5. And to the likes of me and you at home, we won't really have seen much of these drivers in real competitive formats, just in the social races. It always gives you a good gauge on what to expect for the rest of the season as a season opener. You know, it could just be HTL Lama is very quick around Albert Park, and next week he will be 15th. But you kind of have to read the letter, and it does look like Lama and Wishing Siren in their own rights are going to be your championship contenders. Constructors' Championship wise, Aston Martin looking pretty decent as well. I think Cadillac have got a really good lineup, but they've just been unlucky today. You've also, you know, you can always have people that solo carry. I think KHR and the Stubler is a very good lineup as well. Lunar Eclipse and Spadang, that could be dangerous, a big underdog team. But I think it is hard to ignore Lama and Wishing Siren. Obviously, we don't really know about Saban, as he had a pretty abysmal lap 1 and it all went downhill from there. But for the Mercedes duo, it's been dreamland in Albert Park. We know Mercedes love this track in real F1, have often won Grand Prix here. But evidently, it's the same in MOR, as Lama starts the final lap of the first round in MOR Esports. The first round in the Monday 6 PM division. And Lama looking for a dominant win. It was very close battling with Wishing Siren during the first stint of this race. But he managed to get his way through, made the overtake, and that was the crucial part. He managed to get first choice of the strategy. And Lama, with the undercut on his teammate, pulled about a 5-second gap. That gap has risen in the last few laps. And Lama, I'm sure, will be on top of the world. Of course, with a win in round 1, will become the championship leader in the Monday 6 PM division. The Mercedes duo looking very, very strong for a Constructors' Championship. But it's HTL Lama that is going to dominate round 1 and take the lead of the Drivers' Championship as he makes his way through the final couple of corners. The German team flying high once again. The silver arrows, piercing arrows into the Monday 6 PM division. It's HTL Lama that wins the Australian Grand Prix. Wishing Siren comes home second to make it a Mercedes 1-2. And then 16.8 seconds behind the Mercedes drivers, KHR will come home for a podium for Audi. Not Brownie will finish in 6th place for Aston Martin. Definitely could be Mr. Consistent. Lunar Eclipse will finish in 5th place. Lawless Fever will take 6th with Jarmin in 7th. MOR Blake in 8th. Of course, some of these positions may change around after penalties. Blake Zilla in 9th with Spadang in 10th. Hi-Fi 11th with Jay in 12th. Jack Plays 13th. Twitch Brands 14th. And Sander disconnected in 15th place. Gianfranco, the Stubler, Saban Rigged, and Greco Theo all failed to reach the flag. Well, they always say that the season opener is the great indicator. And if the indicator is accurate, HTL Llama, we're going to have to look out for this, man. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in tonight. It's a Mercedes 1-2 and Mercedes dominance here down under. My name has been Jack. I've been your commentator. A pleasure to bring you the action as always. We'll be back in about 50 minutes for the Monday 8 p.m. division, so do not go anywhere. We will see you hopefully there. But until I see ya, take care. And as always, tada.